Brierley, I'm going to do something I rarely do, and that's start out an episode. I usually make you do the intro.
Yes, but I'm so glad that you're taking over today.
But I felt compelled to suggest this topic. We are in the midst of Maycember right now when we're recording this. We are planning to release this right after Memorial Day, when Maycember is about to end or has ended. And May is Maycembering like it never has before for me.
Yes.
Actually, but partly because I have a child who is graduating high school, but I can barely keep my head above water this May. But it's kind of, the challenge has been my Maycember kind of started like in March.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Because of the events.
I am running on fumes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was out and about all day working and getting lunch, and I even shopped and tried on clothes, and I forgot I had like this zit patch on my face. I wore it all day. That's what we're working with. So there's nothing you can do right now except get through it.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody's surviving. Maybe not thriving.
Not thriving.
But surviving.
Yeah.
So I do know. So my daughter graduates on the 16th. The 18th, I leave with her to go on her senior trip to Jamaica, which will be nice, but I'm not planning on that.
I'm not going to lie. There's not much about that trip that sounds appealing to me. Jamaica
and
my daughter,
my relax.
yes, and the rest of it, no. Like the party that starts at 11:30 at night.
It's a white party that starts at 11:30 at night. The night we get there, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get back from that, though, I join you at the beach, and the beach is where, when I see you, that is where I plan on absolutely collapsing. For a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
And then when I get back, my plan, when people are hearing this episode, is to totally
recover,
restore my body. I have all kinds of inflammation, little bits of inflammation I feel like going on.
Yeah.
And have my diet's kind of gone downhill because I'm running nonstop. Yes. And activities harder to fit in. I need to be going to the infrared sauna. I'm not. So I'm just a mess, but there's nothing to do until I get through this. Yeah. So I wanted to look into what are some simple things. I don't want the classic, things you should to do, after a holiday or how to decrease stress, that kind of thing. No. We tried to find 3 very different, fun things
being the key word,
that are actually going to help restore your body and mind after Maycember.
Yes.
And I like what we came up with.
I love what we came up with. It was fun. It was fun. All right. I think you should start with the first tip of what to do.
Okay.
Because
did it kind of shock you?
It shocked me that you suggested it. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But I really love it.
So one of the things I'm going to make myself do, and that I suggest other people do, and I shouldn't say make myself do, but you'll understand in a second, is go to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And go to the farmer's market regularly. And when I say make myself, because it's so easy to just dive right into Publix, grab what you need. You don't really have to have social contact with people, in and out.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself go to the farmer's market at least once a week, though. And here's why. There's several benefits. One, you'll love this, it's outside.
Yes.
And as I've learned and had to face, there's benefits to just being in the fresh air, being around the green space. But here's one of the bigger reasons is my diet is not at the level I like it to be quality-wise right now.
Yeah.
And my body is literally begging for some berries and some greens and a lot more than what I'm giving it right now.
Yeah.
I have got to get those fruits and vegetables with all those anti-inflammatory compounds, all those vitamins and minerals, all that fiber to help calm down inflammation, to restore some of my gut that I'm sure is getting altered right now with all the stress and less healthy eating. And, a lot of times your produce at the farmer's market can contain a lot more nutrients than at the grocery store because for the most part, my understanding is that, fruits and vegetables are typically, they have their highest nutrient content as soon as they're picked. And then it slowly declines.
Yes. And when they're ripe.
And when they're ripe.
So
Yes.
some of the fresh produce at grocery stores is harvested before it is ripe.
Yeah.
And then it ripens.
Yeah. But so let's say they pick strawberries and they're ripe and they pick them out in California, put them on a truck. Well, we don't eat those strawberries. We buy those and we don't eat them for maybe a week later.
Right.
Whereas farmers market, they may pick them that day or the day before, and then we're buying them and eating them. Then.
Yeah.
So
I can't even get away from the farmers market without somebody, in my family, like eating half of the thing of strawberries or whatever berry I picked up.
So much higher a lot of times in your nutrients, in those phytochemicals, in all those key anti-inflammatory things that I know my body is screaming for right now, that it's not going to get adequate amounts of until June when I go to the farmer's market.
Maybe I'll try and fix that for you when we go to the beach. Maybe I'll bring you a little fruit platter.
Bring me like some yogurt and some blueberries and some. Yeah. The other thing is the social engagement and the community connectedness.
Yes.
If you think about it, you actually look somebody in the eye when you're buying that produce and hand them money or Venmo them versus what you do at Publix or a grocery store. And I think it's easy to dismiss the benefits of social engagement and social contact, but I think they're a lot more powerful than we realize.
Absolutely.
And I think that will help me kind of slow down, come off this roller coaster mentally as well.
There's also, I think too, sometimes when we are super busy, I don't see some people as much as I would like to. I don't run into them, and sometimes depending on your farmer's market, that there's an opportunity there to run into somebody that you haven't seen in a little while, or you could also buy some flowers.
Oh yeah.
That feels so good.
Let me tell you, the best dopamine hit can be running into somebody that you really like that you hadn't seen in a long, long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love some dopamine.
Yeah.
So
farmer's market.
So guys,
Love it.
And our other two tips are going to be just like this. So everybody, we got to go to the farmer's market.
Yes. All right. The next tip is go to a concert or buy tickets to go to one so that you're planning ahead. And here's the thing.
There's science behind this, guys.
There's science. So music generally, the research shows that it is really good for your mood. It's good for stress reduction. It even has immunity potential. And then when you layer in the concert part, you get that social bonding experience. Yeah. There was also some stuff I saw about dancing can increase one of the feel-good neurotransmitters. I can't remember if it was dopamine or oxytocin. And then singing can increase the other one. So you know me at a concert. I am belting it out and I am dancing up a storm. I don't care what anybody thinks.
You're dancing all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of it's not the newest study, but there was a big large scale review. I think they looked at 400 different studies, and when they looked at that, they found that music can increase antibodies that play a critical role in your immune system, like immunoglobulin A. Can also increase natural killer cell counts, which attacks all those germs and bacteria. So little things like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other one, you're going to love this one, Carolyn. Apparently, listening to and playing, so not just playing, but listening to, I should have said it in the reverse way, playing and listening to music can reduce your levels of cortisol.
Love it.
Yeah.
So basically, we could say music and going to a concert is very anti-inflammatory.
Yes, exactly. So there was this one, we were preparing for this episode, and Carolyn was like, all right, come on, we're ready. And I was like, no, I have to find this one study. So I want to tell you about this one study that I had to find.
I got to know.
Because I spent a lot of wasted time going for it. All right. So there was this study that was done where they had some music expert, I don't remember. A licensed music therapist, put together, some type of music, right? And they did it with patients going into surgery. And so some patients, group 1, listened to the music compiled by this music therapist. And then the others got benzodiazepine, which is Valium, Xanax, Ativan, Klonopin, right? And what they found was that the ones who listened to the music versus getting the drug had their baseline anxiety was reduced more.
Oh my
going
gosh.
into surgery.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that cool? See, now you know why I spent so much time trying to find that study.
Thank you for finding that.
No, it's okay, but you know me. I just get so hyper focused.
Yes, you were hyper focused. Well, I've also read something. I couldn't find the exact study it came from. This was a write up, but they looked at the effects that attending cultural events had, and what they meant by cultural events were like community concerts and plays.
Oh, yeah.
And they looked at the effect it had on mortality. And they found that people who rarely or never attended concerts or plays had a higher mortality rate. And this was in about 13,000 people over a period of time, compared to people who attended cultural events frequently.
13,000 people is a lot of people to study.
Yeah.
So,
and they said they didn't find this finding was not linked to differences in like income, social networks, education.
It was just purely whether or not you go to concerts or plays regularly versus not going to concerts and plays regularly. Now, I will tell you, I literally already have on my calendar and tickets purchased for 2 concerts tickets purchased.
What'd you purchase tickets without telling me for?
Another concert.
You didn't ask me.
Well, one of them you didn't want to go to. I did ask you if you wanted to go to Dave Matthews.
Oh.
The other one I'm taking my daughter to with another mom and her daughter.
Yeah.
Which you know
I'll go
about.
to that one. Yeah.
And then the third one we were just talking about the other day, which you actually invited me to go to. So we don't have tickets for that one, but you invited me to go to that one in June. So we're going to that. And then there's one more person coming to town that I really want to buy tickets for, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet because at this point I'm spending a lot of money on concerts.
But it's good for your health.
It's so good for my health.
Once you buy those concert tickets and send it to your health savings account.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? See what happens. All right.
Okay. So farmers market, go to concerts.
And there are plenty of free concerts out there, just so everybody knows.
There are.
All right. The third one. Get into or back into a walking routine. So, Carolyn, you talked about like not having as much time for being active right now, which I think we're all experiencing. It's like especially hitting you pretty hard. But there was a really new study that came out that looked at, it was a study of studies that looked at the health benefits of the association between walking and depression. Mm-hmm. And what they found, so it was 33 different studies, 96,000 people. And what they found was that more is better. So for those, a baseline of trying to achieve about 5,000 steps is really great for reducing your depression risk. And then if you get up to 7,500 or more, you have a 42% lower prevalence of depression. But here's the nugget that I feel like is really important for our listeners, because that might feel like, how am I really going to get all of that in? Is just increasing your activity by 1,000 steps a day lowered your risk of developing depression by 9%.
Wow.
1,000 is not, I'm like, I really haven't done much at all today.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of sitting at my laptop.
Yeah.
And I hit 3K.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm like, all right, that's not very impressive. That's not 10,000 that everybody wants you to do, but I'm like, okay. Well, 1,000's not
it's
bad.
good for people like me who tend to be all or nothing. Like, if I can't do a full workout or I can't get 40, 50 minutes in, I just want to like write it off.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But I kind of made a contract with myself in my head last summer when I was like, okay, if I can't do anything else, I can at least walk 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Even if that means like 4 or 5 minute walks scattered throughout. And I did, because I was like guilty. I was like, oh my gosh, it's just 20 minutes. And what I found is a lot of times I ended up going a lot farther than that.
Yeah. Once you got out the door.
But and some days it was a challenge to do those 20 minutes, but I did it, and I felt a lot better.
I also remember you went through that period where when you hit a lull in your workday, you forced yourself to go for a 10-minute walk, and you capped it. At that point, you were capping it pretty hard at like 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Well, that's also when I had my glucose monitor.
Oh, there you go. So that was motivating you.
I was trying to get a better score.
But it worked.
It did work.
It totally worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, now that you say that, if you pair that 10-minute walk after you've had a meal, it's definitely going to help you get over that afternoon slump where you like want to crash. It
does.
And it's going to help with your blood sugar regulation, which is important for all of us, whether we have diabetes or not. Like you don't want the big spikes and the big drops.
Right. Okay. I feel like these are very doable. These are very fun.
Yes.
Or engaging.
Yes.
And really, this is kind of going to be my restorative plan.
I can't wait to just see you do. Maybe you'll document it for us.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Well, 3 little things, such a good idea for today's podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Happy Eating Podcast. I'm Brierley Horton.
And I'm Carolyn Williams. If you liked this week's episode, then don't forget to rate and leave us a review on iTunes. And be sure to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss a new episode.
We can't wait to have you back at our table next week for a brand new episode. Bye.
The contents discussed in the Happy Eating Podcast, such as advice, studies, text, graphics, images, and other material discussed or presented on the site or podcast, are for informational purposes only. Content is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding your condition. Never disregard professional advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on the Happy Eating Podcast.
If you are in crisis or think you may have an emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. If you're having suicidal thoughts, call 1-800-273-TALK, that's 8255, to talk to a skilled trained counselor at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you are located outside the United States, call your local emergency line immediately.